The rain hammered against the windshield like 1,000 tiny fists. Each drop a reminder that Maya Chen was exactly where she'd sworn she'd never be again. Broke, desperate, and standing outside a hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning. Her phone buzzed with the notification she'd been dreading. Her Uber was still 7 minutes away. 7 minutes she didn't have. Inside that building, her 8-year-old daughter, Emma, lay connected to machines that beeped with mechanical indifference. Each sound a countdown to a decision no mother should ever have to make. The experimental treatment could save Emma's life. But at $200,000, it might as well have cost $1 million. Maya had exhausted every option, every favor, every last shred of her pride. Now she stood in the rain, having just left Emma's bedside to rush across town for her night shift at the diner. Because the bills didn't stop coming just because your world was falling apart. Through the curtain of rain, a sleek black Mercedes pulled up to the curb. Maya glanced at her phone. Still 6 minutes until her Uber arrived. She looked back at the car, confused, just as the driver's window rolled down. "You called for a ride." The man's voice was deep. Professional. Maya squinted at her phone again, then at the car. Wrong model, wrong color, but she was desperate. Maybe the app had glitched. Yes. To Murphy's Diner on 5th. Get in before you catch pneumonia. She didn't need to be told twice. Maya slid into the back seat immediately, apologizing for dripping water everywhere. "I'm so sorry about the mess. It's been the worst night of my life." The driver glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Even in the darkness, Maya could see his eyes were kind, a deep brown that seemed to actually see her, not just look at her. He appeared younger than she'd expected. Maybe mid-30s, with dark hair, slightly disheveled as if he'd dressed in a hurry. "Want to talk about it?" he asked, pulling smoothly into traffic. Maya let out a bitter laugh. "You don't get paid enough to hear my problems. Trust me. Try me. I've got nothing but time and an empty car." Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was the anonymity of a stranger in the dark. But Maya found herself talking. She told him about Emma, bright, funny Emma who loved butterflies and wanted to be a scientist. About the leukemia diagnosis 6 months ago. About her ex-husband who disappeared the moment things got hard, leaving her with nothing but debt and broken promises. About the experimental treatment that could save Emma's life, the fundraising that had fallen short, and the doctor's words that still echoed in her head. "Without the treatment, we're looking at months, maybe weeks. I don't even know why I'm going to work tonight," Maya whispered, staring at her hands. "The money I make in a week wouldn't even cover an hour of Emma's treatment. But what else can I do? I can't just give up. She's counting on me." The driver was quiet for a long moment. "You're a good mother," he finally said. "The best kind. A good mother would find a way to save her daughter. You are finding a way every single day. That's what heroes do. They keep fighting even when the odds are impossible." Maya wiped at her eyes, surprised to find herself crying. She never cried in front of strangers. "I'm sorry. You didn't sign up for this emotional mess." "Actually," he said, and there was something odd in his voice. "Maybe I did." Before Maya could ask what he meant, they pulled up to the diner. She reached for her wallet, then remembered with a sinking feeling that she'd already spent her last $20 on Emma's favorite smoothie at the hospital. "I'm so sorry," she said, mortified. "I thought I can run inside and see if my boss." "It's covered," the driver said quickly. "Consider it a gift." "I can't accept that. I'll send you the money through the app. I promise." He turned around then, really looking at her for the first time. "No need. Just promise me you'll keep fighting for Emma. Don't give up." There was something intense in his gaze, something that made Mia pause. "I promise," she whispered. She climbed out of the car, then impulsively knocked on the window. When he rolled it down, she said, "Thank you, not just for the ride, for listening. You have no idea what that meant to me tonight." He smiled. A genuine smile that transformed his entire face. "You'd be surprised. Take care, Maya." It wasn't until the Mercedes had disappeared into the night that Maya realized she'd never told him her name. The next morning, Maya dragged herself back to the hospital after her shift, her body running on fumes and coffee. She found Emma's room in chaos, but good chaos. Her daughter was sitting up in bed, grinning, while drive. Patterson stood beside her with tears in his eyes. "Miss Chen," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I have the most extraordinary news." Maya's heart seized. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. The treatment, it's been fully funded. All of it. An anonymous donor contacted us last night and paid for everything. Emma starts treatment this afternoon. The room spun. Maya grabbed the door frame to steady herself. What? That's impossible. Who? They insisted on remaining anonymous, but they were very specific that we were to begin treatment immediately and that you were to have unlimited time off from work to be with your daughter. They also paid off all your existing hospital bills. Maya couldn't breathe, couldn't think. I don't understand. Mommy, I'm going to get better. Emma squealed. And that's when Maya broke down completely, collapsing into the chair beside her daughter's bed. It took 2 days for Maya to discover the truth. She'd told herself she wouldn't investigate, that some miracles weren't meant to be understood, but curiosity got the better of her. She started with the Uber app, trying to find records of that night's ride. Nothing, no charge, no trip history, no driver profile. Then she remembered the diner's security cameras. Her manager helped her pull up the footage, and Maya watched the Mercedes pull away, catching a clear shot of the license plate. A quick online search of the plate number led her down a rabbit hole that ended with her staring at a Forbes article, her hands shaking. Alexander Stern, billionaire tech entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Stern Industries. Net worth $8.4 billion. And there he was in the photo, the same kind eyes, the same face of the man who'd driven her to work that night. Maya read the article with growing disbelief. Alexander Stern had built his empire from nothing after losing his own mother to cancer when he was 23. He'd been too poor to afford her treatment, and she died while he was working 3 jobs trying to raise the money. The article mentioned his famous habit of anonymously funding medical treatments for families in need, but he notoriously avoided any publicity for it. The puzzle pieces fell into place. The wrong car that night, his insistence that she talk about Emma, the way he'd said, "Maybe I did," when she apologized for dumping her problems on him. He hadn't been her Uber driver at all. He'd been out there deliberately looking for stories just like hers. Maya didn't think. She looked up Stern Industries headquarters and took 2 buses to get there. The receptionist tried to stop her, but Mia planted herself in the lobby and refused to move until someone listened. "Tell Mr. Stern that Maya Chen is here. Tell him I know what he did and I need to say thank you." 2 hours later, she was sitting in an office overlooking the city, and Alexander Stern walked in. Wearing a suit that probably cost more than her car. But his eyes were the same, kind, understanding, human. "You didn't have to come all the way here," he said gently. "Yes, I did." Maya stood, her voice steady despite her tears. "You saved my daughter's life. You saved my life. How do I even begin to thank you for that?" He shook his head. "I don't want your thanks, Maya. I want you to do something for me instead. Anything. When Emma gets better, and she will get better, I want you both to pay it forward. Not with money, with kindness. With the same strength and love you showed that night in the rain. That's all the thanks I need." Maya wiped her eyes. "Why did you do it? Really?" Alexander looked out the window, his expression distant. "Because someone should have done it for my mother. Because I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes, and none of it means anything if I can't use it to stop other people from experiencing the worst night of their lives." He turned back to her. "You didn't confuse me for your Uber driver, Maya. You were exactly who you were. Supposed to be a mother who would do anything for her child. I was just lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time." 6 months later, Emma was in remission. Her hair was growing back in soft curls, and she spent her days collecting butterflies in the park again. Maya had started a foundation with Alexander's support. Nothing huge, just a small organization that helped families navigate medical crisis, offering both financial assistance and emotional support. She often thought about that rainy night, about the moment her life changed because a billionaire chose to drive around the city looking for people to help. She thought about how close she'd come to giving up and how one conversation with a stranger had given her hope when she had none left. But mostly she thought about what Alexander had said. That kindness was the only currency that really mattered. That being seen, truly seen by another human being, could change everything. Maya never confused another billionaire for an Uber driver. But she learned something far more valuable. That night, that humanity isn't about how much money you have or how desperate your circumstances are. It's about showing up for each other, especially in the rain, especially in the dark, especially when everything feels impossible. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, it's about finding an angel who just happens to drive a Mercedes.